They weren't supposed to survive the night. The storm had swallowed the sky, turning the alien tundra into a white coffin. Sirla clutched her younger sister as the cold gnawed at their scales. Their kind were never meant for this. Warm-blooded species might have endured, but for the daughters of Ketheri, this was slow execution. Their ship lay in ruins a mile away, nothing but jagged metal half buried in ice. No shelter, no heat, no hope, until he appeared. At first, she thought the cold had driven her mad. A biped in crude fabric, trudging through the snowstorm like it meant nothing. No claws, no fur, no natural armor, just pale skin, breath steaming in the wind, and a stubborn fire in his eyes. A human. He didn't hesitate, didn't ask questions. He stripped off his insulated jacket, wrapped it around their shivering forms, and pulled them close. "You're gonna be okay," he muttered, voice hoarse, arms shaking. "I got you." Sirla couldn't understand. Why would this fragile alien risk his own life for theirs? She didn't know yet, but in that moment, she felt something impossible bloom in her frozen chest. The snow didn't fall gently here. It attacked, like shards of glass hurled by a merciless sky. Sirla pulled her sister tighter against her chest as the wind howled, threatening to peel the scales from their fragile bodies. She could feel Keitha's pulse weakening. Too slow, too faint. "No," Sirla whispered, though her own lips were cracked and numb. "Stay with me. Just stay awake." The wreckage of their ship lay half a mile behind them, a smoldering heap already half swallowed by the snowdrifts. The crash had ripped open their life support systems and scattered their emergency supplies into the blizzard. One moment, they'd been bound for a diplomatic summit. Next, they were stranded on a death world. A death world. That's what this was. No rational being could survive out here for long. The cold was a predator. It crept into lungs, crystallized breath, turned blood sluggish in veins. Keitha's hands, delicate, claw-tipped fingers, had already lost their lilac hue. Frostbite. Sirla tried to wrap her tail around her sister to shield her from the wind. It didn't matter. Her own strength was fading. Even her tears froze before they could fall. This is it, she thought. This is how we end. But then movement. Through the blinding white, a shadow emerged. 2 legs, broad shoulders, a small figure wrapped in tattered fabric. At first, Sirla thought it was a hallucination brought on by hypothermia. No one else should be here. This planet was uninhabited, its atmosphere barely breathable. But the figure didn't vanish. It trudged forward, boots crunching in snow, each step deliberate. Whoever, or whatever, it was, they weren't built for this place either. Their exposed face was flushed red from the cold, breath puffing out in clouds. Yet they moved with a stubborn determination. Sirla's vision blurred. The shadow knelt beside her. 2 bare hands, pale, trembling, reached for her sister first. Then her. "You're freezing," a voice said. Hoarse, low, male. "Shit. Hang on. Just hang on." She didn't understand the words, but the tone cut through the haze in her mind. Urgent, desperate. The stranger stripped off his heavy jacket and wrapped it around the 2 of them. The sudden warmth made her flinch, but she couldn't muster the strength to resist. He pressed closer, trying to shield them with his own body. "You're not dying out here," he growled, more to himself than to them. "Not while I'm breathing." The absurdity struck her even through the fog of impending death. This being, this soft-skinned, fragile thing, was risking his own survival for 2 strangers. It didn't make sense. No species in the known galaxy would sacrifice so much for others, not without a reason. And yet here he was. Jack Harris cursed under his breath as the wind slammed into him again, threatening to knock him flat. This wasn't how his day was supposed to go. He'd come out here to salvage scrap from a derelict beacon, hoping to score enough credits for decent rations. Instead, he found 2 dying aliens in the snow, and now he was making a choice that would probably get him killed. "Why the hell am I like this?" he muttered, teeth chattering. The med scanner on his wrist blinked red. Body temp critical. 35.8 degrees Celsius. Hypothermia risk imminent. He ignored it. The 2 women, if that's what they were barely conscious. Their skin, or was it scales, had an almost metallic sheen under the frost, and their delicate limbs trembled violently. He had no idea what species they were. Didn't matter. He tore open his pack. 1 emergency heat cell. 1 insulated blanket. Not enough for 3. Barely enough for 1. Shit. Logic screamed at him to take the heat cell for himself. To leave them. This was a death world for a reason. If he didn't prioritize his own survival, no one would. But when he looked down at them, huddled together like broken birds, something in his chest tightened. He remembered Earth's winters. Remembered his kid sister's frozen lips when their shelter's heater had failed during the blight storms back home. He remembered carrying her through the snow for miles, refusing to let her die. And he remembered failing. Jack clenched his jaw. Not again. He jammed the heat cell between the aliens' bodies and activated it. A faint glow lit up their faces as warmth began to spread. One of them, a taller one with jagged violet markings along her cheeks, stirred weakly, her alien eyes fluttering open for a split second. They were beautiful, in a sharp, otherworldly way. "Don't try to move," Jack said. Of course they wouldn't understand. He tightened the blanket around them anyway. The scanner flashed again. Warning, core temp dropping fast. He cursed louder this time. His jacket was gone. He'd wrapped it around them already. The wind clawed at his thin undershirt, cutting through fabric to his skin. Gooseflesh erupted across his arms. Fine. If he was going down, he'd go down trying. Jack crouched beside them, wrapping his arms around both strangers. Their cold skin burned against his, but he didn't flinch. "Listen, I don't know if you can hear me," he whispered, breath fogging between them. "But you're not dying here. Not while I'm still kicking." His legs were going numb. Fingers too. He squeezed them tighter. "Humans are stubborn bastards," he muttered. "So don't you dare give up on me now." The taller one stirred again, eyes half-lidded. A whisper, alien words he couldn't understand, slipped past her cracked lips. But the look in her eyes, pleading, desperate. He understood that perfectly. Jack gritted his teeth. "Yeah, I got you." For Kaith, it felt like a dream, a forbidden one. She floated in darkness, but faint heat pulled her back, a fragile tether holding her to life. Slowly, her senses crept back, the ache in her chest, the prickling of thawing scales, the sound of a deep, rhythmic thump, a heart, but not hers. Her eyes fluttered open, blurry shapes resolved into a pale, alien face, slack with exhaustion. Strange brown hair stuck to his forehead with frost. His breathing was shallow, ragged. She could feel his trembling, his chest rising and falling in erratic shudders. He was wrapped around her and Sirla like some kind of living furnace. His bare skin pressed against their cracked scales despite the deadly cold. Kaitha's mind reeled. Why? Why would any sentient do this? On Ketheri, weakness was punished. Even among family, survival always came first. No one, not even a bonded mate, would throw their life away for another. To do so was illogical, yet this creature had given them everything. His warmth, his clothing, even his strength was fading, and still he clung to them with shaking arms. Sirla stirred faintly beside her. She was alive too. The human had saved them both. Kaith managed a hoarse whisper, her vocal cords raw. Why? The human flinched slightly, then cracked one eye open. His gaze met hers, and though she couldn't decipher the words that followed, The tone carried everything. A stubbornness that burned brighter than the ice around them. "You're not dying on my watch." Keith's throat tightened. This wasn't logic. This wasn't strategy. It was something else. Compassion. No one in her life had ever offered her such a thing. Not her instructors. Not her parents. Not her kin. She'd been taught compassion was a weakness of primitive species. Yet here she was, held in the arms of a creature so fragile he should have been the first to die, and he was keeping them alive. Her shivering lessened slightly as the heat cell pressed against her stomach began to work. But the human wasn't recovering. His skin was pale now, lips tinged blue. His hands, still gripping them tightly, had gone stiff. "No!" Keith rasped, horror coiling in her gut. He was dying. She reached for Sirla, gently shaking her awake. Her sister blinked, confused, then froze as she noticed the human's condition. Keith forced her body to move despite the pain. She pulled the thermal jacket tighter around all three of them and pressed closer. Sirla did the same from the other side, sandwiching the human between them. It was all they could do. She didn't understand him, didn't even know his name. But in that moment, she made a silent vow. This human would not perish for their sake, not if she had anything to say about it. And if he survived, she would never let him go. Jack didn't remember slipping into the darkness. One moment, he was holding them close, his jaw locked in defiance against the cold. The next, there was only weightlessness. No pain, no sound, just emptiness. "Am I dead?" Then came a sharp hiss, and searing warmth flooding his chest. His lungs jolted awake with a violent gasp. Jack's eyes shot open to blinding light and strange metallic walls. He wasn't in the snow anymore. He was lying on a padded surface, covered in alien medical devices that beeped and pulsed around him. "Wah!" His voice cracked, his throat dry. "Where?" "You're safe now." The voice was melodic, almost musical, but the translator unit by his ear garbled it slightly. Turning his head, Jack saw her, one of the sisters, watching him intently. Sirla, he thought, or maybe Keith. Her violet-marked face softened when his eyes met hers. "You saved us," she said. "You gave up your warmth, your own life." Jack tried to sit up, but a sharp pain in his chest forced him back down. "Easy," she murmured. "You've been unconscious for 2 cycles." 2 cycles? He'd been out for days. As he blinked the haze from his eyes, the second sister entered the room, carrying what looked like a nutrient pack. She was smaller, her gaze softer but no less intense. "He's awake," she said to Sirla, and then both of them turned their alien eyes on him. Eyes full of something he couldn't name. Jack swallowed hard. "Did you carry me here?" "You left us no choice," Keith said. "You risked your life for ours. That is unheard of in our culture." Jack let out a weak laugh. "Guess humans are weird like that." But their expressions didn't change. "To save another at the cost of oneself," Sirla began, voice almost reverent. "On Ketheri, such an act demands a vow, a life debt." Jack frowned. "A life debt." Keith stepped closer, her voice low and steady. "You saved 2 royal daughters of Ketheri. Under our laws, we now belong to you." Jack blinked. "Wait, what?" "It is our duty to ensure your survival and legacy, to serve you, to bond with you if you wish." "Bond," he croaked. Sirla's gaze softened, but there was fire beneath it. "Humans call it marriage." Jack's brain short-circuited. "Marriage? With them. Both of them. This isn't about duty anymore," Keith added. She stepped closer, their alien warmth radiating even through his haze of shock. "You burned yourself out to keep us alive. No male of our species would have done the same." She knelt beside his bed. "So we ask not as Ketheri, but as Sirla and Keith. Will you have us?" Jack stared at them. Two powerful, deadly alien beings offering their lives to a scrappy human salvager. He let out a ragged breath, a half-smile tugging at his cracked lips. "Hell," he muttered. "Guess I really am on a death world. 'Cause this has to be a dream." Jack wasn't used to luxury. The Ketheri medbay felt like stepping into a dream. Warmth radiated from the walls. Air smelled faintly of spices. Outside the curved window, the frozen hellscape of the planet stretched endlessly. But here was safety. And yet, he didn't feel safe. Not really, because Sirla and Kaith were still watching him. "You're thinking too much," Sirla said, tilting her head. Kaith sat cross-legged on the floor, her long tail curling idly. "Do you regret saving us?" Jack let out a shaky breath. "No, I just don't understand any of this. Your whole life debt thing, your offer. Where I'm from, people don't just give themselves away like that." Kaith's lips quirked, almost a smile. "Where we're from, no one gives themselves for anyone. That's why your actions shattered everything we believed." "You see weakness," Sirla added softly. "We see strength." Jack rubbed his face. "I'm just a junk salvager. You're alive because of you," Kaith interrupted firmly. "Royalty or not, nothing erases that." There was a long silence. Jack stared out at the snow, remembering the cold gnawing at his bones. He should have died. Maybe he had, in a way. But the warmth in their eyes pulled him back. "You're serious," he murmured. "About this. About me." "Completely," Sirla said, her alien voice like velvet. Jack's laugh came out raw. Two alien princesses proposing to some half-frozen human nobody. Sounds like something out of a holonovel. "Then make it real," Kaith said simply. They rose in unison, moving closer until their warmth pressed against him from both sides. Jack's breath hitched. "You don't have to decide now," Sirla whispered. "But understand, we're bound to you. Whatever form that takes is your choice." For the first time in years, Jack felt something bloom in his chest. Not fear, not survival instinct. Hope. "You know," he said, smirking faintly despite himself. "Humans have a saying, if you're going through hell, keep going." Sirla tilted her head. Meaning maybe we build something out of this. Something worth keeping." Kaith's tail brushed his arm gently. Then it settled. Outside, the storm began to break. Sunlight cut through clouds, scattering light across the ice fields. Jack stared at the alien sky. He had no home, no ship, no plan. But for the first time in a long time, he wasn't alone. Maybe, just maybe, he belonged here, among the stars.